How do you add to a masterpiece? That's a hard question to answer. It's all too easy to make sequels or additions to a great story that fail to capture the magic of the original and end up being little more than unnecessary fluff. But that's absolutely not what the Cowboy Bebop movie is at all. Because this movie manages to add to Cowboy Bebop in ways that only enhance it. Naturally, the presentation of the movie stands out right off the bat, which is kinda to be expected considering how good the show looked, but that makes this no less impressive. The animation, from fights to general character movement, the tone with music and coloring that's consistently impressive and perfect, the backgrounds with their exceptional sense of depth. It's like the movie took all these elements of the show and went, hey, what if we took perfect and made it more perfect? The plane chase in particular is just magical. This sequence alone would make the movie worth watching for me. However, the even bigger ways it builds upon and even retroactively enhances the original comes from the way it fills in the gaps. After all, the events of this movie are happening very close to the point in the story when the group is going to break apart, with Ed and Nine going their own way and Spike confronting his past. Ultimately, Spike ends up rejecting this present in favor of going back to that past, realizing that he can't simply run away any longer, that he needs to face Vicious and really face himself too. In this way, all these adrenaline-pumping adventures the crew had been on are recontextualized as distractions for Spike, a way to ignore something he needed to confront about himself. Meanwhile, Jet's focus on this crew as a family that he doesn't want to see fall apart becomes a lot clearer in the last couple episodes. Faye similarly realizes that this is a place where she can actually belong, but only right at the moment it's all unraveling. While I love a lot about how the show handled this end, I felt there could have been a slightly more gradual build toward the characters confronting these things about themselves. Basically, I just wanted a bit more time with them, to understand these sides of them, and that's exactly what the movie provides. For Faye, this expansion is incredibly small but still important. First, she talks about how somewhere out there's the perfect job for her, a comment that gets to the heart of her character. She's always searching for that something that will fit her perfectly, that will make her feel like her. Whether that's a job or a past that she no longer remembers, that is the key struggle for her character, and this little line naturally builds on that idea. Additionally, we see more of her concern for Spike when he's leaving to do something dangerous as she tries to dissuade him. Like I said, these are small moments, but even small moments can do a lot to build upon a character and make me understand them and their struggles better. Meanwhile, Jet's feelings are similar. He berates Spike for his recklessness, tries to dissuade him from doing dangerous stuff, but of course, everyone in this group keeps doing their own things, causing Jet to wonder what it even is that ties them all together. And that moment of introspection for him as he talks to Ein and sits in this dark room, it digs to the core of his character. He doesn't know what ties them together. He isn't able to articulate how much he needs them, and he may act like he wants to be alone sometimes. But when push comes to shove, he'll be waiting for his friends to return so they can continue their adventures together. It ultimately adds to the sadness of the series' end to hear him talk like this, and that's exactly the sort of thing I want from a movie like this. Now, these scenes are good and all, but Spike's character is the one who gets the most focus, and that's great, considering that he's the protagonist and the central subject for the last episodes of the TV series. Really, by drilling down to the fundamental elements of his character, the movie provides wonderful answers to one of the most interesting questions I could ask about Cowboy Bebop. Who is Spike Spiegel? See, we've learned a lot about Spike throughout each of these sessions. We've seen him in loads of different scenarios and seen a whole lot of different sides of him. The heroic side, the fearful side, and everything in between. But we've only gotten glimpses of his past and a few episodes that really focus on who he was before Bebop. However, now when he comes face to face with Vincent, he can't do that anymore. No, he sees himself in this man who rambles on about purgatory and heaven and hell, and he understands that he needs to face him to learn something about himself. But why does he need to do that? Why is he so focused on this idea? Well, because they're both men who have died. After all, Vincent lost his memories of his past life, and as such has also lost his sense of self. Now he's left searching for something in this purgatory of his, a door to a better place, to the next plane of existence, to a heaven. But in the end, there is no door. No, there's only the past, only the thing he was and has been, even if he can't remember it. At first, Spike might seem different. I mean, he has his memories and he doesn't have nanobots clogging up his system. But where Vincent had himself erased by another person, Spike chose to erase himself by running away, to deny himself of what he wanted from his old life under the assumption that he could simply start over and ignore the skeletons in his closet. But no matter what, he couldn't keep that up. There's no separating himself from what he was before, and all the beautiful things he sees now will feel like nothing more than illusions until he actually confronts who he was. Basically, he's forced to look at this man who believes himself to already be dead and ask himself, am I the same way? Am I already dead? And if he is in a purgatory, what fear is it that keeps him there? Well, I think it's the fear of feeling anything, of caring, and the vulnerability that comes with that. As he admits in this movie, when he was younger, he was ready to die at any time, but then he met a woman he loved and everything changed. Then he became afraid. So afraid that he would run across galaxies to escape it, even if only temporarily. So afraid because he had something to live for. But oddly enough, he became afraid of fear itself, of that feeling that he could lose something, of having something that was worth holding onto. So when he sees Vincent face the person he loved and remembers for a moment the reality of those days they spent together, the fact that he felt alive then, well, then Spike begins to think about his own past, about the person he loved but left behind, and about the days he considers real. As such, he decides he will no longer be a man playing a game alone, and really no longer a man who simply reacts to life as though it is a simple game. No, he will face those demons in his past and face himself. For me, this filled in the gap for Spike's character perfectly, and helped me understand why he was so totally unwilling to run away again once Vicious took over the syndicate. After seeing Vincent, he just couldn't do it anymore. He had to see himself made whole again. Even if it was only for a moment, even if it scared him so much he was shaking and that he wanted to run, he needed to live in the real world. Now, the way I'm talking about this might have given the impression that this movie was necessary to my enjoyment of Cowboy Bebop, but that isn't the case. Instead, what impresses me about this film is that only after watching it did it feel essential. Like, now that I've seen it, I would recommend that anyone watch it between episodes 22 and 23 of the TV series, where it chronologically takes place. Even if it was made after, I believe the story only flows better with its inclusion. And part of the reason why it fits in so well is that, like many of Cowboy Bebop's best episodes, it implores the viewer to think about themselves, about the past they have, about the things they hold dear, about the sides of themselves they might not want to face, about the weight they'll carry with them. Of course, it does that in a straightforward manner, placing the question right in front of your face. Are you living in the real world? Which is to say, are you being honest with yourself? Are you living while accepting the truth of the world, even if that world is full of pain and suffering and so many scary things? Because yeah, that stuff is terrible, but if you close your eyes to that, well then you might also miss out on all the beautiful things there are to see too. Basically, apathy might be easier, but it's not a great way to live. So the movie is really asking the viewer to face their fears, to look themselves in the mirror and ask a question. Is there something holding me back from my potential or from living a full life? Am I denying myself? Am I living in the real world? And if I'm not, what am I gonna do about it?